This episode on
Artists Get Game. Hello, friends, and welcome to Artists Get Game, a Brazen Jester Studios production. We are very fortunate today to be filming on the unceded ancestral lands of the Lheidli T'enneh people, on whose lands we live, work, play, and create here in Prince George, British Columbia. My name is Sharon, and I'm your host for the day. Today, we are going to be playing Bridgerton Love Letters with author Carly Butler. Carly, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hello. Well, this may be the most spontaneous thing I've ever done, and I'm really excited. I moved up to Smithers, British Columbia when I was about 10. I was born in the United States, and then I spent another 12 to 14 years in Smithers before moving to Prince George for a couple of years. And now I live near Vancouver, British Columbia. And I'm back in Prince George again because I just became a published author in March of 2024. And this is my very first stop on my Northern BC book tour. And so I'm doing an event in a couple of hours, and I got invited to stop by and learn how to play this game and talk to these lovely people here.
Okay.
So
Well, we're so happy to have you, Carly. Being an author is a very unique art form, and it's so exciting to be a published author. I know how difficult the whole publishing industry can be.
yes.
With all of your experiences living in Northern BC, spending most of your life in Northern BC, how do you find the Northern BC area inspires your writing or creative flow?
I mean, even just since driving up yesterday, it was very easy for me to just get back into that slowing down because I'm so used to the hustle and bustle of Vancouver area and I'm with my kids, and so it's just I'm always doing something. Like this morning I slept in for the first time in a long time, and I'm just driving, and there's just a different energy and a different flow here, and I think it just feels a lot easier to just take a deep breath and relax. And that, I think, opens my mind and my heart up to really just taking in everything around me, and that inspires. Well, I think I can kind of turn the writing switch on anywhere, but I think being in environments like this sort of make it a little bit more natural and organic, and I can just find like more like just being out on a walk by the river today and hearing the wind and the trees and everything. It just feels like I just wanted to have a I felt like I'm not a poet, but I wanted to write a poem about being there and to help me remember this experience and instead of just taking pictures. And yeah, so I just love being, I always call it home up here, and I'm really excited to just celebrate this journey with people that I have called my family and my friends for a really long time. And I'm probably going to write a lot more about it when I go home and be inspired that way.
Yeah. So let's get started with the game.
All right.
So there's your first card and my first card, and you can go first.
I learned the rules 5 minutes ago.
Yes, she did. And she did very well.
You're probably going to win, just saying.
I don't know. Sometimes the cards are not kind to me. So you get to draw another card for your turn.
All right. Ba-doo. I play Eloise Bridgerton.
Okay, what number are you going to guess that I have between 1 and 9?
This is one of my lucky numbers, so I will say 7.
No, I do not have a 7.
Let down by my lucky number.
Okay. I am going to also play Eloise Bridgerton, and I'm going to guess the number 4.
No.
Oh, I'm so bad at guessing the numbers. I didn't get it once, the single time. The
There's
last
so
game I
many
played.
options.
And yet. Okay, it's your turn.
All right. Oh. Well, how about I just give a little Kate Sharma?
Okay, so you want to peek at my hand?
Mm-hmm.
I have the Kate Sharma that she just played, which is really funny. Okay. Well, I don't want to play that one now. I'm going to play Kate Sharma as well. Can I please look at your hand? Oh, no. Okay. So as we're going forward, just wanted to know sadly, I haven't had the pleasure of reading your book tonight. I may have to
Downstairs.
grab a copy on our way out when we finish filming today. I understand your book is a memoir. What inspired you to write a memoir as you are obviously so very young still?
Yes. Well, I am turning 37 this year, and I did not know that I would have so much to write about in a almost half of a life, God willing. But I have always wanted to write stories, and since I was a kid, and really, the more people that I met throughout my life and they learned about what I'd experienced, I always heard, oh, you should write a book. That would be really interesting. And so that was always on the back burner of my mind. And I had a blog for a while, and I was sort of sampling out various stories to see how people would respond. And it was kind of always the same, like encouraging me to write more and wanting to know more. And so, but life happens, kids happen, and it wasn't until about 2020 when the world kind of ended for everybody. And so one of my kids is very medically complex, and so we had to quarantine at home, very, very tiny little bubble, and we didn't know how long we would need to be living in this sort of situation. And so a friend of mine, she gave me a laptop and told me to start writing. And honestly, if it weren't for her, I'd probably still be writing my book on my phone, like painstakingly. Pardon me. So shout out to Renee. And yeah, so I guess I just really thought, okay, I now have the time, and now I have the tool that I need. And it felt kind of like now or never, because a lot of my story had relatable themes to what we were all going through in the pandemic. And I thought it might be a really good time to tell that story and try and find some hope in it. And also, I thought, worst case scenario and the world is over and we're all gone. I kind of wanted to tell my story before I died. So not to be morbid or anything, but it was a desperation.
A lot of people felt that. A lot of people felt that during COVID, and the lack of connection with people, and sharing our stories is one of the best ways sometimes to find that connection. So what a very healthy outlet you found.
It was cheaper than therapy.
Yeah, I could definitely understand that. Okay, I think it's your turn.
Oh,
So don't forget to draw a card first.
oh.
I have to keep remembering while we're talking that we have to play the game.
Yes. Yeah.
I often forget that part.
Well, I actually prefer this to like the eating hot wings format.
Not gonna lie, we did do something very similar to that in a previous production that we did. We actually,
Oh no.
it was quite lovely. We sampled hot sauces from all over beautiful British Columbia. And we dipped bannock that was locally sourced.
Amazing.
While tasting these beautiful hot sauces. We didn't go too spicy because I was the host and I had to do 4 episodes a day.
You had to be able to
And that was a little bit much. But we were interviewing professors from up at the university. So it was
cool.
a lot of fun, much like this is
Yeah.
a fun thing to get us out of ourselves while we're chatting.
All right. Well, let's see if I can a Duke of Hastings.
Okay, so now we have to compare our hands, and whoever has the lowest number is out.
Okay.
Okay, what have you got?
Oh. I am out.
So I will take the first diamond of the game.
Ooh, shiny.
And then we get to try again.
Do I put this down then?
We will collect all of those and redeal.
All righty.
So you say you have always wanted to tell stories. And can you tell me a little bit more about that, about storytelling and what that means to you?
Yeah, well, I think I was in an official like elementary school up until grade 3. And my favorite class was the creative writing. And I actually found one of my very first like little books that I made, and it was like a robbery mystery. Like I was really into Nancy Drew and those kinds of stories. So I made my own book, and it was sort of wrapped in wallpaper as a cover, and I did the illustrations as well. I think the writing was better than the illustrations. And so, yeah, I think I've just always loved even just the physical act of writing, the fact that we can create something in this language, right? And so even if you can't say anything or you can't hear anything, you can still see it and communicate that way. And I think as I was reading so much as a kid, it just made me realize how many possibilities there are in the world, and it inspired me. And I kind of thought that, if I ended up being a writer, it wouldn't be memoir. I would just be making up my own stories. And then my own life ended up being kind of stranger than fiction. And I thought, you know what, like, what better way to start than by untangling my own story first? And yeah, so it's been a long time coming.
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes telling our own stories can be scarier than making up stories.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm gonna be interested to see who shows up at my events, people that I've known from the past, and see how they responded to the book. And I changed all the names of all of the people, of course, but I'm hoping it'll be a mostly positive reception to being sort of not personalized, but just maybe being part of the story and knowing me. It's a weird. I've had some people tell me it's so weird knowing you in person and reading your book at the same time. like I know an author. Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. And I'm like, I'm still just me, I promise.
I just wrote some words about experience,
and
but I'm still just...
And if I start acting like not me, like, please call me out on that. Don't let me become like a fancy person that doesn't talk to people anymore.
Yeah.
Although I do admit that to come and play this game and talk with you, I did have to push off some dinner plans that I had.
I'm so sorry.
Other friends. I was like, am I a bad friend for already changing my dinner plans to go do a podcast interview? And they're like, no, go do it.
Oh, okay. Well, to whomever you are who canceled, your dinner plans got canceled, thank you so much for sharing Carly with us today, because I'm having a blast. So
they'll be at the event later. So
okay.
yes.
Okay. So hopefully I can pop down and say hi.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go first this time. And I'm going to play the Colin Bridgerton right away, which means that I am invincible for one round.
Oh my
And
goodness.
then it is your turn.
Okay.
Sometimes it's hard to choose.
Yes. Well, are you still invincible if I do that?
That does nothing to me, but that says that if I don't play a Daphne Bridgerton, then at the end of this round, no matter what, you get a diamond. Yes.
I thought I remembered that rule
Yep, that was a
correctly.
good one. Okay, so I'm going to play a Colin Bridgerton, which lets me draw 2 cards.
Oh.
And then I have to discard 2 cards from my hand to the bottom of the deck. There we go. And then it is your turn again.
Alrighty. How about Eloise?
Okay, and then you need to guess a number.
Hmm. 3.
Nope. Not a 3.
You almost had me.
Almost. Okay. Uh-oh, you're not going to like this. I got a Daphne.
No.
There's no extra diamonds this round. So, as an author, people are usually or often inspired by other writers.
Mhm.
What other writers' works have inspired you?
Huh. Well, to be honest, I
Mhm.
haven't been able to do a ton of reading in the last few years, even though I've wanted to.
Mhm.
Um, but I do tend to find authors online and just
Mm.
follow them and, try to read whatever snippets of things that they share and be like, okay, yes, I'm gonna buy that book one day
Mhm.
eventually. Um, and yeah, I think I for a while have been really inspired by Glennon Doyle,
Mhm.
um, because she's written a number of books, but her most recent one was called Untamed,
Mhm.
and it was just about her literally just un like rewilding herself and
Mhm.
breaking out of the box that modern day womanhood had kind of
Mhm.
put her in and including like discovering that she was actually gay
Mhm.
and didn't know that until she met the right person and you
Mhm.
know so I was inspired by that story. I'm really inspired by Caitlin Curtis. She's a Native American author
Mhm.
in the States, and she came from a similar like church background that I grew
Mhm.
up in, and so she has a really poetic way of like untangling all of those sort of stories and narratives that we grew up believing that our native cultures were like bad and everything like that and that
Yeah.
that we needed to assimilate into
Mhm.
the rest of the
Yeah.
culture there and just so a lot of reclaiming and
Yeah.
reconnecting and
Mhm.
still being like a spiritual a
Mhm.
connection there and yeah so she's written a book called Native and she's written a couple of children's books that I think
Mhm.
is really cool to like that I want to get to like read to my own kids and raise the next generation and knowing those stories and those values and then I think the last author I've been really inspired by lately, her name is Cole Arthur Riley, and she's a Black woman that lives in the States as well, and she has a lot of deep spiritual like poems and
Mhm.
prose, and she she also has like just a really good way of talking about disability
Mhm.
and people that are maybe like neurodivergent or
Mhm.
like experiencing things in their body that they don't have control over, and so I relate to that. It helps me parent my own children better, and yeah, I think those are the top 3 that come to mind. And but yeah, I think those authors, they inspire me, but I have such little blocks of time where I can read that sometimes the subject matter is like really heavy to, just read like a 5-minute chapter of or something. And so I have to be in the right headspace and have the right time and energy. And but yeah, I just really appreciate them a lot, and hope that I'm somewhere near as inspiring to somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think it is your turn.
Alrighty. Hmm. Okay. Lady Danbury.
Okay. And are you going to discard your hand or have me discard my hand?
Hmm. I think you should discard your hand.
Okay. Okay. And then it is my turn. So I discarded Kate Sharma. Okay. I am going to play Eloise Bridgerton, and I'm going to pick number 7.
No.
Oh, I should have known. The number 7 is right there in front of me, and there's only one of them.
Oh,
I
that's
apparently need
good
to pay attention to the game that I'm playing. Okay, it's your turn.
Alrighty. Oh, okay. Eloise.
Okay.
2.
Nope, it was not a 2. Okay, I am going to play the Duke of Hastings. So we need to compare our cards, and whoever has the lowest value is out. But I have Penelope Bridgerton, or Penelope Featherington, sorry.
I'm doubly out then, I feel like.
Oh, and unfortunately, because I played Daphne, you also don't get an extra diamond. Okay, so that's 2 rounds down. Got 4 more diamonds to go.
Well, hopefully I'm better at doing a book launch than I am at playing this
Oh,
game.
that's okay. This game can turn around very quickly. I have seen it happen. I do not always win, I promise. I definitely do not always win the games that I play on this podcast. And sometimes I really don't win. Okay. On for you and on for me. And it's your turn to go first.
Well, I don't really have much of a choice.
So you do get to draw a card.
Oh, yes, that's right. Ha! Thank you.
Give a little choice.
Okay. Again, I don't really have much of a choice.
Another Daphne. Look at that. You're going for the diamonds. I can tell.
Gotta catch up here.
Okay, I'm going to play Lady Featherington, who does nothing. Really does nothing. Yep, your turn.
Alrighty. What, Lady Bridgerton?
Oh, and what does that say? We have to swap hands?
Choose and trade hands.
Okay.
With another player.
There you go. Enjoy. I'm going to play Eloise Bridgerton because I know that she has Penelope Featherington in her hand. And I picked the number 9.
Well, what do you know?
Look at that. You get a diamond. You still get a diamond.
Because of Penelope.
Well, no, you get a diamond because of Daphne.
Daphne. Oh my gosh.
There you go.
I need to catch up on Bridgerton, clearly. Oh my gosh.
This is a fun game. There are many different versions of this game. This just happens to be the Bridgerton version. I have also played just plain love letters, which is just based on knights and kings and princesses, and the courtiers trying to get the love letter into the hand of a princess. And I believe I've also played Batman love letters, but I know there are so many different types of this game. This just happens to be the one that I found before taping?
Well, it's more interesting, I think.
I thought it was very apropos for the times.
Yes.
Okay. And my turn to go first, I think. Okay. So, if you were to write a work of fiction, because you've mentioned that you like making up stories, and we're surprised that your first book was a memoir, would your characters, would it be sort of like a popular fiction about people in today's time, or what sort of era would it, do you think, would inspire you?
Oh man. That's a really good question. I mean, it's kind of very popular right now, but I do enjoy like dystopian,
Mhm.
post-apocalyptic scenarios
Mhm.
because I think exploring how each character responds to uh, the world ending and trying to
Mhm.
rebuild something is really fascinating to
Mhm.
me. Um, I also really like um, I mean, I'd have to do a ton of research for
Mhm.
anything that I wrote. But I also really um, like the 1800s
Mhm.
and uh, exploring the this time like before technology really
Mhm.
advanced, and what were people reading and being entertained by,
Mhm.
and what were they eating, and like just
Mhm.
that whole, I don't know, I think it would be interesting to kind of do like an ancestral sort of,
Mhm.
like maybe there's a modern day character
Mhm.
learning about their ancestors that lived in
Mhm.
a different time and sort of go back and forth and
Mhm.
create a whole like narrative around that.
That could be
Um
really interesting,
yeah.
especially when you thinking about how in our global world our ancestors are so diverse.
Mhm.
Um, it's not sort of the same, I guess. I don't know. I grew up in Canada and I'm used to being surrounded in BC by so many different
Mhm.
cultures. And my ancestors came from all different places in the world,
Mhm. Yeah.
which resulted in me. And
Mhm.
I find that fascinating. Um, the idea of exploring
Yeah.
what their life may have been like,
Me
and
too.
knowing that our ancestors came from so many different places,
Mhm. Yeah.
all the different opportunities in that story. I find it
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah, and
I
knowing that one day I'll be an ancestor,
Yeah.
and what am I thinking about and hoping for
Mhm.
the future of my family, and
Yeah.
just sort of using that as a parallel between the
Mhm.
past and the future. Yeah, that just kind of came to me right now
Oh, there you
in this
go.
moment. So
Bringing inspiration
thank
through a podcast.
you.
You're welcome. That sounds like a really exciting idea. I know I did sort of put you on the spot there, but
That's okay.
Okay.
We came up with something really cool.
Ah, okay. So I would like to look at your hand, please. Oh, you don't have to, you can just show me
Oh.
because you get to keep your hand. You don't have to play it yet. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And now it's your turn.
Oh, okay. Well,
What number are you going to pick?
mm, 3.
No.
Man, 0 for 0.
I know, Eloise is a hard card. I am also going to play Eloise Bridgerton, and I'm going to pick a 4.
Mm, sorry.
Not a 4. I'm so bad at choosing cards. I had one game that I got it every single time, and it was really funny.
When my daughter plays Monopoly, she has a rule that if you roll a 6,
Mhm.
you get to roll again.
Mhm.
One time she rolled like 5 sixes in a row, and she was just going around the board.
Oh.
Like, how are you doing this?
Yeah.
Okay. How about Lady Bridgerton?
Okay, so we're going to trade hands. Thank you. I am going to play Anthony Bridgerton, which gets me to draw 2 cards. Then I keep 1. Okay.
I don't think I've gotten one of those cards yet. That's a tricky one.
It is. And then it is your turn.
Okay.
Sorry, I just hit the mic.
Daphne.
Oh, the first Daphne's been played again. Okay. I'm going to play Eloise. And I'm going to pick number 3.
Because you gave it to
Because
me.
I gave it to you. So you've got the 3. So then that means that I win this round. But you get a diamond again because you had a Daphne.
Woohoo!
The diamond strikes again.
Oh man, you're getting close.
2 more diamonds. Or 4 diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are 4-2. And 6 diamonds wins the game.
For the thrilling conclusion, tune in to the next episode. Guest, Carly Butler. Host, Sharon MacDermott. Voiceover, Christopher S. Wood. Producer, Sharon MacDermott. Directed and edited by Christopher S. Wood. Production assistant, Orrin Wood.
Meow.